They make him look good. They make him look good, don't they? Do they look good, yes or no? How?
No.
Really?
I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it today. They don't deserve it.
The Bengals?
For once, I was rooting against them, and they won anyway.
Yeah, it's just when you want them to win.
Table for the Bengals. You beat the Bengals.
Yeah.
The Broncos, as you call it.
I didn't do it.
Okay.
I didn't do it.
You didn't do it. You could, though, maybe a little fist bump for your guy, Jalen Hurts, because, Skip, I have a feeling you're going to like what you saw, because Hurts' first career NFL start could not have gone much better. The Eagles were able to upset the Saints 24-21, thanks in large part to the rookie quarterback's performance. Hurts passed for only 167 yards and 1 touchdown, but he ran for 106 yards as well. Despite the win this morning, Doug Peterson said he is still undecided on who will start next week against the Cardinals. So, Shannon, what percent of the credit for this win should go to Hurts?
Skip, who Doug Peterson think he's fooling? But talk about I'm still undecided.
The Cardinals.
He ain't fooling himself, Skip. Because first of all, Skip, if you look at this game, this is the best game the Eagles played as a team. I'm not talking about offense. I'm talking about as a team. Offense, defense, special teams. I thought Doug Peterson called a great game, except that first fourth down play. I'm like, what the hell are you doing on that one? But other than that, Skip, this is the most complete game that we've seen them play all year. And now he's undecided. Considering that he couldn't decide, like, man, do I bench Wentz? Do I leave him in for another series? Do I bring him out? So now you seem to have found a spark, the spark that you were looking for in Jalen Hurts. Skip, I won't minimize the importance of Jalen Hurts and what he did yesterday, but the defensive scheme that Dennis Allen, the defensive coordinator of the New Orleans Saints, Skip, is baffling to me. Now, the New Orleans Saints have gone 55 games. Skip, that's over 3 years without allowing a 100-yard rusher. They gave up 2 in the same game yesterday. Why would they treat him like he's a pocket passer and leave the edges unprotected? Guys getting out of the lane, he's taking off. The one thing that Jalen Hurts did, Skip, he was decisive. That first guy wasn't there, I'm gone. And they're waiting, Wentz, Skip, he can do things with his legs that Wentz, even though Wentz is mobile, Skip, he's not Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts can just do things with his legs that Wentz can only dream about doing. And he was I guess Dougie says, look, if it's not there, son, get gone. And what did he do? The edges were there, he got gone. Left, right, up the middle. I didn't get the game plan, but that's not to take anything away from him. If you make a mistake, it's my job to capitalize on it. And that's what I remember when I was in 2000, Skip, we was challenged to score offensively. And the thing that Brian Billick says, look, we challenge right now, but when they make a mistake, let's make them pay for it. And that's what he did to the New Orleans Saints. When they made a mistake, they got out of there, got responsibility unsound. He was gone. He made a couple of big throws, made the one big throw to Alshon Jeffrey. They blew the assignment on Jalen Reagor. Skip, looked like they were going to come down and play lurk. They was going to override the Reagor. The guys got tangled up, and he goes for 41 yards. Give him credit. But I think him playing well offensively sparked the defense because they got 5 sacks. They got a pick. They forced a fumble. Special teams were flying around. So he deserved the lion's share of the credit because that was the only difference. I did think they called a little bit more runs. Normally we don't see Sanders get those kind of runs. But he hit his head on the goalpost. Again, Alexander tried to backdoor it. I don't know why he tried to backdoor it, Skip, but that's what you do. When a team makes a mistake, you hit your head on the goalpost and it'll teach him next time. But he gets the lion's share of the credit. So if you want to give him 65, 75, 85, whatever the lion's share of the credit is, I'm going to give it to Jalen Hurts.
Lion. I give Jalen Hurts 90% of what happened yesterday. He changed everything for the Philadelphia Eagles. I hate the Eagles, but I love me some Jalen Hurts. I said, tweeted, posted on that draft Saturday, Jalen Hurts will be better than Carson Wentz. I'm not saying he has a better arm. I'm not saying he's taller. I'm not saying he's bigger boned. Carson Wentz
he'll play the position better.
He'll just perform better at the position than Carson Wentz will long term. I've believed it with all my heart and soul since I watched every snap Jalen Hurts played at the University of Oklahoma, especially that second half at Baylor a year ago, November, when they trailed 31-10 against the best defense in the Big 12. You can say it's just the Big 12, but Baylor had a really good defense. And Jalen Hurts lit them up in the second half for 305 total yards. He can throw it, and he can definitely run it. And the problem that Dennis Allen and company had going into this game is when you just watch it on tape, you can't get a sense of just how imposing it is because he doesn't look fast on tape. He doesn't look fast on television. He is effortlessly
more of a
fast.
glider. He reminds you, he runs kind of like Derrick Henry. He takes the long.
He does.
And he's chewing up ground.
He is moving much quicker than the eye.
Yes.
You try to look at it and you say, that's not much. And he timed 4.5, which is pretty good.
Kyle and Lamar Jackson look fast.
Okay, they look fast because their feet are moving fast. Jalen is a longer strider. Yeah. He's more effortless. I'm not saying nonchalant. It's just effortless.
Right.
He runs with power. He can run through people. Mm-hmm. He can take punishment and give punishment. Again, I don't love this for the long term.
Right.
But for the short term, for yesterday, for me, the degree of difficulty was so high against him yesterday, as you talked about on Friday, mm-hmm. It was almost like sabotage, like you've been thrown into a fire that is going to scald you. Mm-hmm. And instead, to me, in rookie debuts, and I'm going to get into more of this in just a moment here, but I cannot remember a more impressive rookie debut under the circumstances than what that young man did yesterday against a New Orleans team that had won 9 in a row, did have the statistically best defense in pro football, did have the hottest defense in pro football, one that had allowed only 231 yards a game in its last 3 games, had led the league in sacks over the last 4 games. And would you believe that Jalen and company through 3 quarters had 359 yards? They were chewing them up and spitting them out. Jalen Hurts, you could tell from the opening snap, was not afraid of the Saints. Again, he respects the Saints. I'm not saying he's just scoffing at the Saints, but you could tell immediately he was in charge of the huddle and in charge of his own poise on the field against a really good football team that absolutely devoured Tom Brady at Tampa Bay and absolutely annihilated Matt Ryan twice in 3 weeks.
They were devouring everybody.
Just everybody. And so you're up against a situation in which, as I pointed out Friday, your 2 captains, Fletcher Cox, Jason Kelsey, your 2 longtime stalwarts on your team, had both spoken up and spoken out in favor of, pledged allegiance to Carson Wentz. We love him. Fletcher Cox went so far as to say he's my best friend on the team. Whew, that is hard. And I told you Friday, Jalen Hurts had the audacity, the gall, the guts on, I believe it was Thursday to his media session, to wear a Houston Astros hat, the symbol of the biggest cheaters in the history this side of the Black Sox in professional baseball, Major League Baseball. He's from Houston. He was representing his hometown. His father was his high school coach. And he said, no, this is who I am. And you can like it or you can lump it, and I'm going to play it. And so he goes out against all this degree of difficulty, and right away he's driving them until that ill-fated 4th down where they tried the read option. It just went nowhere, got blown up in the backfield. But he ate up 8 minutes of clock, and he kept converting 3rd downs. And I'm like, whew, here we go. And then he drives the second drive, if we could see the 2 plays. You mentioned the play to Rager, but he did hit Rager. Again, his poise was supreme yesterday. This is the first one now. He's wide open. They completely blew the coverage. But again, he was quick to find him. He didn't get sacked against the sack masters, the Saints, right? And then there's the 4th down play. That's 4th and 2. Now, that's a 4th and 2 throw, and he just got clocked. As you see, you see what happens. He just got blasted right in the face as he threw the football. And it was on time, and it was on target, and it was where Alshon, of all people, resurrected from the quote-unquote dead, could catch it, put it away, and score with it.
I'm surprised Lattimore played him like this, because if you look at Alshon over the last couple of years, that's all he catches, back shoulders.
But he has been nowhere to be found, okay? So then we go to the next scoring drive, which is impressive. They get backed up 2nd and 11 at their 3-yard line. This is a Carson Wentz recipe for disaster in the end zone. And if we could see what Jalen then did with this football, quick
Fragile.
Watch
That's
this.
Hendrickson.
Okay?
Skip, that's it. He has contained. Remember how we talked about the Cowboys?
But this is the effortless glide where you better get out there because he's going to turn that corner on you. Was that not the biggest escape out of jail that you could get?
Skip, but
check this out.
But I think that's Hendrickson. I think that's his last name. But Skip, he doesn't have responsibility. He has the quarterback.
Okay.
So if you take one step, it's over.
It's over with Jalen Hurts, just like it would be with a Kyler or Lamar, except it doesn't look the same to your eye test.
Yes.
Okay.